Good morning from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant, and we welcome you to Kentucky Newsmakers on this Easter Sunday. Since 1849, Midway University has been growing and evolving with an eye on the future. The school is small but impactful. It runs some key programs that are helping Kentucky meet its workforce needs. The 200-acre campus in Woodford County is also a working horse farm. That's a little different. It's 15 minutes from Lexington, but people marvel at its unique and quaint small-town setting. Midway University President Dr. John Marsden has led the school since 2013 with a growing list of programs and accomplishments and a growing student population there. President Marsden is our first guest and is joining us today on Kentucky Newsmakers. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.
You know, people think of Midway, they pass by it. Few maybe get off the interstate and go over and take a look at it, but what a unique history, starting as a school for orphan girls and transitioning over the years to co-education, and then now providing a unique path for students to get into their professional world.
Right. Well, we've always transformed to remain relevant. We were the Kentucky Female Orphan School for nearly 100 years, became a junior college, then began offering four-year programs in the late 1980s. Then began offering evening programs for working adults, eventually added online programs, and more recently we became Midway University to reflect our expanding graduate programs and international partnerships, because when you use the term college in other countries, it's often confused with high school. And then we also went fully co-ed. We already had co-ed grad programs and online programs, but our daytime college was a school for women only, and we had been for women since our founding. And in 2016, we went fully co-educational.
You were a big part of that decision?
I was, because I've been there since 2013, and our board approved that transition. But that was probably one of the turning points for the institution and for our 9 years of enrollment growth.
And your population is about half and half now. Right?
It is. It is.
Which a lot of colleges have a higher female ratio, so I found that to be interesting.
Often women's colleges take many decades in order to reach that 50-50 ratio. But we did it very quickly. We've added a lot of academic programs at the undergraduate and graduate level, often to meet workforce needs, and then we've also added a lot of sports teams, and that is important to the young people today. And it's been a big part of the collegiate experience at many institutions. I'm
sure 12 years there, it seems to you, in some ways there's been a lot has happened in that time, in other ways it's probably like a flash. But you have a strategic plan that is to grow. And,
yes.
And you want to retain the students who come to Midway. What are you doing in those areas?
Well, we've had three strategic plans since I've been there. The first one was to actually turn the institution around, because we were struggling when I first arrived. And the second one was then to begin our growth trajectory, and now we're in a third one. We're continuing to grow, but also trying to retain our character and make sure that we are true to our mission, which is to provide a career-focused education for our students. Some of the areas where we are growing, graduate programs, we have just added 2 last year, management and information systems, and a Master in Healthcare Administration, and we are getting ready to add a Master of Arts in Teaching. We already have a Master of Education and a Master of Science in Nursing and an MBA. We've been growing with the dual credit population, a number of high school students taking courses with us, either at their high school or on campus or online. And our biggest growth really has been in our traditional daytime population, as I mentioned, by going co-ed, and also adding programs and sports teams. That's where we've had a tremendous amount of growth. We're seeing some recent growth in our online programs because we just added a hybrid associate degree in nursing program that's meeting a market need right now. Because we've had so much growth, we have had more demand for on-campus housing, and we have made a lot of campus improvements over the last few years. I can rattle off a list for you since 2000.
I know there are a lot of buildings going up
and a lot of renovations going on. And we've been able to do all of it without incurring any new debt. We're in a financially stable position.
Is there an initial hurdle these days when you're going after college students that you have to convince them that there is value in a college degree?
Well, certainly there's been more scrutiny on higher education in recent years, and people are questioning the value of a college degree. Many studies show that your earning potential over a lifetime is much greater when you have that college degree. I think what is working for Midway University right now is our value proposition. It's really consists of 5 parts. One is that we have majors that are professional in nature and aligned with career paths. That resonates well with students and their families. We have athletic opportunities. We're an NAIA institution, but provide good opportunities for students who maybe can't compete at a D1. We're affordable, one of the most affordable in the state. Certainly our graduate and online programs are very affordable, and we're the most affordable traditional daytime program in Central Kentucky. And that's important to families because we are drawing 2/3 of our students from Kentucky. 4th part, great location. Woodford County, city of Midway, safe, rural campus surrounded by horse farms, picturesque, but we're not isolated. We can be in downtown Lexington pretty quickly and have all the amenities of a larger city.
What do people think when they find out you have a working horse farm on campus?
Usually a surprise. Of course, we're often trying to spread the word about Midway, and I'm a little times disappointed when someone will tell me that they've been to restaurants in downtown Midway, but they've never been on campus.
Yeah.
Or when they say, oh, we didn't realize you went co-ed, even though that was back in 2016. So we're trying to get the word out.
Well, even for people in this area who haven't been over and maybe visited your campus, it's sort of behind downtown is how I would describe it, right?
That's right. You're going to hit downtown before you get to campus.
Yeah. So, but very interesting. All right. So you mentioned the online component, and there are universities that have really pushed that, and you can really push your numbers up, as you know. Is that a future for Midway, or is that campus experience always going to be a high priority?
Well, we've looked at diverse revenue streams serving many different student populations because they can ebb and flow depending on the economy and market needs. At one time, we were one of the leaders in online education. We've seen that market shrink because it's been there's much more competition in the marketplace. We've seen now more recently an uptick again, but that's because of some of the programs that we're offering. But we will retain our traditional daytime population. We will continue to offer online as an option. And more recently, we've been offering graduate programs, and that's really just in the last decade or so.
We talk about Kentucky's workforce. We know there are steep shortages in nursing and in education, and those are 2 areas you have mentioned as high priorities for Midway.
Our original purpose as an institution when we were founded as the Kentucky Female Orphan School was to train young women, educate them to become teachers. That was our very first major. So teacher education is still an important part of our identity. Nursing is one of our largest programs on campus. I think we enjoy a strong reputation in the community, and that is continuing to draw lots of students. Very competitive because we only have a certain number of spots that are granted to us by the Kentucky Board of Nursing, so there are limits on how many students we can actually accept into the program. Business is actually our largest major, and then some that are big programs for us include sport management, not surprising considering we do have a lot of student athletes, and then equine studies. We have a number of students, over 100 at the undergraduate level, that are studying equine, and they're able to get the hands-on learning because we are a working horse farm. And so they're out doing barn chores in the morning and rolling out of bed at 7 a.m. and working on the farm and taking care of the horses and
learning
really
the business
firsthand.
From the bottom
That's
up.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's important to do.
Yeah.
How do you, when you're recruiting students, you go across the state, obviously, and you have other ways you try to reach them. What clicks with them?
I think it's the majors that we offer, the opportunities for athletics, the affordability that I mentioned earlier, and when they come on campus, if they're a traditional student, they are really taken in by how attractive the campus is and all the improvements that we have made, and it's a well cared for campus, and that is the first impression. And I think that is something that resonates well with families and prospective students.
Financial aid, a lot of students are receiving assistance to get.
They are.
Right? Yeah.
We have a number of Pell eligible students, but aside from that, we offer a lot of institutional aid. There are opportunities for academic scholarships, athletic scholarships, and some other options as well.
Dr. Marsden, these are interesting times in higher education across the country. Obviously, you want and have worked for a diverse campus population. You also want people to feel that they belong. Are there some challenging balances there?
We have really not had struggles with belonging on campus. We have a fairly harmonious campus. Students seem to eat together, hang out together regardless of background. I think we don't have Greek life on campus, but the sports have really helped with that sense of belonging. And certainly if you're in class with some students, that can help as well. But we have not really had that challenge. It is challenging times for higher education because there are changing demographics. There's going to be fewer high school graduates in 25 and 26 because of the low birth rate that happened in 2008. We're going to start feeling that. We do draw students from other states and other countries as well. I mentioned before about 2/3 of our traditional population come from Kentucky. When you look at our equine program, it's actually 2/3 come from other states. We do also have a number of countries that are represented on campus. Last year we had about 100 international students between our undergraduate and graduate programs. We have seen a dip in that number, and we're not sure what to expect this fall. We're continuing to try to attract students, but there certainly are some obstacles in the way right now regarding that.
You're building a library. You got a major gift recently, and it's a $10 million project, right?
Yes, and I would say that this is probably the fastest that Midway University has ever raised $10 million in its history. We've always struggled a little bit with fundraising historically. We're happy to see that more and more people are investing in the institution now and believing in our mission and our future. Largely, I think, because we've been doing so well for the last 9 years and have had that growth, and people want to give to enhance the collegiate experience for our students. We have simultaneous projects going on right now. Our existing library will be converted into a residence hall. In a first phase, we already converted the second floor into housing to meet that demand. The second phase is to break ground in a new library, which we'll be doing this summer because we have just about raised that $10 million. And then in the third phase, we will convert the rest of the existing library, the remaining 2 floors, into housing. And that will be a full residential hall. We already have the funds committed for that project.
A little shuffling around going
Shuffling
on there.
around, and we've added a lot of other projects. Since 2018, we've added a new athletic field house, a new baseball stadium, new tennis courts, a new turf field and track, a new equine barn, a new admissions welcome center. We have renovated and converted our oldest building into a residence hall, renovated the administration building, renovated bathrooms in our other residence halls, and renovated the dining hall, all without incurring any new debt.
How do you generate the ideas to move forward?
Well, I have a great team that I'm surrounded by, and we have lots of conversations on campus. We look at some of the needs. We have some surveys that we conduct as well on campus looking at our facility needs. And we bring those ideas to the board. Sometimes board members have great ideas too, and a very collaborative working relationship. And I also have an undergraduate degree in architecture,
Helps.
and that certainly helps with all the building we've been doing on campus. And while I may not be practicing as an architect, I've enjoyed all the building that we are doing, building programs, building buildings, building athletic opportunities. I've enjoyed all of that with Midway.
How can people get more information about Midway if they're interested?
If they're interested, they can certainly visit us online, www.midway.edu.
We appreciate you coming in, Dr. Marsden.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
That went fast.
Everybody stay with us. We're coming back. Colby Hall to join us from SOAR next on Kentucky Newsmakers. Welcome back to WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers. Once again, Eastern Kentucky is dealing with adversity and more flooding has hit the region. But Kentucky's Appalachia is also spreading its wings in new ways. Towns are starting to grow. Some are coming to the region to work remotely. President Trump's executive orders on coal are designed to help the economy, although there's some skepticism about how much will happen in that regard. Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR, is planning for its annual summit, which will return to Corbin and will be held earlier this year. SOAR also runs the EKY Talent Network, a way for people to connect within the region. And Colby Hall is Executive Director of SOAR, and he joins us right now. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Bill. Thanks for the invitation.
You know, it seems Eastern Kentucky is always being tested. Here we are again, more flooding. Folks find themselves having to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, organize together, and try to get back to normal.
Yeah. What's that old saying, Bill? You're either coming out of a storm, you're in a storm, or you're heading into one. Sure feels like we've kind of just been in a storm consistently the past several years. But another round of horrific flooding. But again, it shows the resolve and the resiliency of the people, of our people in the mountains. And you know, this latest round of flooding, it seems like maybe wasn't as bad as a couple years ago, but obviously there were several parts in Pike County, especially, and maybe a little bit more spread and some not as much concentrated devastation. And it's a challenge, right, on top of areas that got hit a couple years ago, but places are continuing to build back. The response was immediate, and a real hats off to first responders, emergency management, kind of like the governor mentioned, you know, around when it was happening. But through all these trials and tribulations, I think we have one of the the first class, first response program, given what we've been through. So it's a challenge, but you see the best in people sometimes when things like this happen.
And unfortunately, well practiced, as you mentioned.
That's right.
What is the most encouraging thing happening with SOAR right now in the Appalachian region?
Well, something we're really excited about, Bill, was something that we announced with our partners at our last SOAR Summit in Pikeville last October, which was we were the top award winners of a federal grant program called the Recompete Pilot Program. And when we combined the federal grant award with some support from state and local partners, I want to really give my thanks to the Kentucky General Assembly, Craft Philanthropy, Congressman Rogers, and Governor Beshear. We announced a $51 million federal grant combined with some matching funds. The purpose is over the next 5 years, Bill, is we're going to continue to try to help people navigate back to employment. And that's going to be a big project. Our staff has been staffing up significantly, and I guess if I could say two quick things about it, because I don't want people to hear this and think, oh, another grant is coming, more money, but how are we going to move the needle?
This has a driven purpose, right?
It does. I think what it comes down to is the recognition that change happens one person at a time. We have a lot of challenges that we have to deal with at Eastern Kentucky. But you can't get to 1,500 or 2,000 people placed in new employment until you start with the one in front of you. And this is also a recognition that we're all here for a reason. And every person, no matter the hand that you're dealt with, has unique talents and gifts that our purpose is to help them unlock so that they can navigate to employment, so that they can become the best version of themselves. And so as exciting as we are as job training and opportunities in healthcare and remote work and other sectors, it really starts by reminding people that, hey, you've been dealt a tough hand, or you might be in a tough spot now, but we're here to help and support you. And together with our partners, this work that we're going to be leading because of this federal grant, that's what we're really excited about.
So this will help individuals.
That's correct.
How do they find out what resources may be available to them?
Well, I tell you, I've got a team that's dedicated, and we went live in October, and we launched a couple weeks ago. We've already had about 250 leads. Bill, we're focused on folks that are 25 to 54 years old, prime working age years, and individuals that are neither working nor looking for work. We have a website, eKYRunway.com. It's called the Eastern Kentucky Runway is the name of the program. And essentially, they just have to raise their hand, send us their name, and we're going to reach out and help them with the rest to give them that pathway.
Specifically, what are some of the things that they will be able to gain through this?
Yeah, so it's developing a relationship. Bill, somebody that's never worked or maybe been out of the workforce, maybe they're transitioning from another industry, it's taking the time to sit down with them and to learn about them, right? What do you want to do? What goals would you have? If nothing was in your way, do you want to become a nurse? Do you want to become a teacher? Do you want to work with your hands? Do you want to start your own business, right? And then let's build back from that, right? What are the things that are in your path right now? Childcare, housing, do you not have transportation? Are you just limited on, are you below it? Or do you have a criminal record, right? And it's really saying, you know what, we're going to stay with you. This doesn't happen overnight. We're going to be with you, alongside you, walking with you. Now, you have to make the change, right? You have to make the sacrifice of making those decisions yourself. But we're there with you every step of the way, and will be for as long as it may. So it's trying to take that type of holistic, comprehensive approach.
Questions they have not been asked, maybe, or if thought there might not be answers to.
That's right. And that, hey, when you take a step back, guess what? We're going to be right there. We're not going to let you fall through the cracks. And so that's kind of our approach with it, and something that we're really excited about.
There was recently some national publicity about people moving to Appalachia and working remotely, and it includes both people who have some connections to the region and some who don't, who want a nice place to live and spread their wings and learn a new way of life.
We are so proud of our EKY remote program. Bill, we've talked about this before, but just population in general. That's one of our biggest long-term concerns with the region is whether it's out-migration or whatever our population, if we can't get our people right, just the number of people in the region, we're going to continue to have challenges. And so again, thanks to the support from the Kentucky General Assembly, we were able to invest in a program called EKY Remote, which is essentially our way of saying, hey, if you're working remotely across the country, if you can bring your job and your family with you, and you're looking to come from no matter where you are, and you want to take advantage of our beautiful mountains, our wonderful downtowns, our great school systems, all the things that maybe we take for granted, if we're being honest, Bill, come. Right, come.
Are some surprised by what they find?
Well, I would say I think we've been surprised at, again, the stuff that maybe we talk about as being assets that, again, maybe we're just immune to a little bit, but they love. We hosted somebody from Sacramento last week, Bill, and they're just, wow, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be and more. And they're in the process of closing on a home, and they're going to be here in 3 weeks. So we've been able to move, about 120 total people, household incomes of around $90,000, dollars. Lots of children, which helps the local school system, and we plan to continue that progress moving forward, because we do believe we live in one of the most pristine, most welcoming, most hospitable places in the country, and we have to get out and tell that story.
President Trump recently signed executive orders to clear the way for more coal mining and use. Is it reasonable to think that coal can return as a major part of Eastern Kentucky's economy?
Bill, I don't know if I'm smart enough to tell you the economic trends. I'll let somebody else do it. But here's what I'd say. As we think about how do we help people become the best versions of themselves, how do we get people on the pathway to economic self-sufficiency, we want an above all approach in terms of jobs. So whether it's coal, whether it's something else, if there's a good paying job out there and there's a way for us to get Eastern Kentucky talent connected to it, SOAR is going to be interested in that. So we hope, whatever opportunities there are, that's something that's going to be something that we can connect our people
You
to.
have something called the Eastern Kentucky Talent Network.
That's correct.
What does that entail?
What we found, Bill, and this is not too dissimilar from my own story as somebody from the region that left and worked really hard to try to come back, we found is oftentimes it's really hard to know what job opportunities are available. Whether you're a recent college grad, whether maybe you're somebody that's in the middle of upskilling, reskilling, or in transition, we got to make it easy so that you understand the job opportunities that are available to you. So our talent network is one way where anybody across the region in SOAR service territory can raise their hand and say, hey, yes, I'm interested in a job, I'm interested in finding opportunity, can you connect me to those? So it's a way for us to get all job seekers in one place, to have direct conversations with them, to send them information, and also offer some career counseling and resume prep and different things like that.
I've heard continuously in this conversation that the assets are there in Eastern Kentucky. It is a matter of communicating to the people, both the residents who are there, and then communicating about the region and what it has to offer.
Yeah, and everybody says that, and Bill, you've been in the news a lot. There's a lot being thrown at people. It's harder to keep people's attention. It's harder to get through. So we have to be creative. We have to be innovative. We have to hustle, right? And we're doing all we can to make sure that, hey, there's a lot of good stuff out there that's available to you. if you'll just listen and take advantage and let us help you with it.
You're hosting the SOAR Summit. It'll be in Corbin this
Correct.
year. You're
Yes.
back and forth between Corbin and Pikeville usually. And it'll be in August.
That's right.
So what will be happening this year?
Yeah, super excited to be back. Corbin's really the whole Tri-City area there between London and Corbin. We get great representation from Somerset and Williamsburg. We have great partners in the University of the Cumberlands. Workforce is going to be a key theme this year, given a lot of through partners goodwill, and as we think about folks that are trying to achieve the American dream. The idea that no matter where, again, the hand that you've been dealt, that you can get on a pathway back to where you can do better for yourself and your family. Those are going to be things we're talking about. And I'll also say AI, which is rapidly changing just about everything about how we handle our day-to-day. That's going to be front and center in the summit this year as we think about what impacts it could have on Eastern Kentucky, which I think there's a lot of positives that can come from that as well.
If people want to know more about what you're up to at SOAR, where do they go?
www.soar-ky.org. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, SOAR EKY, Shaping Our Appalachian Region. You should be pretty easy to find us.
And you always invite people to get involved, right?
We can take as much help as you can get. We can't do it by ourselves, right? We have a great network of partners, but we're always looking to add.
Colby, I really appreciate you coming by today.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Great conversation as always, and good update, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
That sounds like a plan.
Everybody, we'll be back on Kentucky Newsmakers and wrap it up in just a moment. We appreciate you being with us for this edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. We're working on getting folks from Keeneland in to get an update on what's happening there, and the Chief Justice, Deborah Hembry-Lambert, as well. So we'll see if we can get them in for next week, if not very soon. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. Stay with WKYT for the latest news on air and online. Have a happy Easter and a good week ahead.